sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on to someday find that vintage love. I kept on looking, but everyone's such a bore. And out of a sudden, you came through the door. At the next table, your whiskey neat. The lights were dimmed as our eyes met, moves on me. And forevermore, I like to share that vintage dream.
I understand that not everybody loves New Year's resolutions, and some people are actually very against them. There's plenty of people with opinions about them, whether they're productive or even destructive. Wow, that is some loud snoring, dog. Your eyes are open. Hi. Welcome to another edition of Sweet Vegan Living. I'm Jennifer Chapman, Holistic Nutritionist and Naturopath. And that sound, if you can hear it, which if you can't, I'm amazed, is the sound of my old dog snoring on the couch next to me. Very loudly, seemingly on purpose because her eyes are wide open. Where was I? New Year's resolutions. I love them. I'm crazy about them. I make them every year. And sometimes they are goal oriented, like an achievement I want to accomplish, or a country I want to visit, or a task I want to finally complete, or something. Sometimes it's more habit changes that I want to make, like making sure that I am eating 90% whole foods and only maybe 10% max processed foods, or maybe something like practicing better sleep hygiene, or anyway, things like that. Maybe for some people it's something else, like quitting smoking, or cutting down or cutting out alcohol, or these are common ones that a lot of people have. And I know everyone has an opinion about it. Not everyone. A lot of people have opinions about it. And some people say that it's terrible for you because you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because you're never going to achieve them, or if you don't achieve them, you will feel like a failure. But I think it's really fun to set goals, and I like seeing the ones that I actually accomplish. And if you can have a healthy relationship with your resolutions, I think they can be great. I also love the process. I like the reflection. I like to do writing exercises like Julia Cameron's 5 Imaginary Lives, or the symbols of success, sophistication, success and sophistication. I can't remember. I think I usually just write success and sophistication. At any rate, it's a list. It sounds very superficial, but it's a list of things that are symbolic to you of success or sophistication, or both. I can't remember. And it can be something as really basic as like always brushing your hair before you leave the house, or having a well-organized wallet, to, I think one year I definitely had, as a symbol of sophistication, a subscription to a newspaper. So I subscribed to a newspaper, and I thought, yeah, this will definitely make me feel more, I don't know, put together, successful, I don't know, sophisticated. And I will read the newspaper, stay up to date on current events, but I won't be scrolling through my phone. And honestly, I just didn't make enough time to read the whole newspaper, and a lot of it didn't even interest me. And I just ended up with a giant pile of recycling that made me feel bad. So in that respect, oh my God, you snore so loud. Stop. Yeah, in that respect, it wasn't helpful, but normally it's helpful. And it can be things like keep an eye on your credit score, or stick to your budget, or learn 27,000 languages, or have an excellent knowledge of wine. I am geographically challenged, so more than once on my list of symbols of sophistication, I have written like a good basic understanding of the geography of this world. I have yet to climb that mountain, but I'm trying. I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember where certain cities, provinces, states, countries are in relation to each other. For the life of me, I just don't even, I don't know what it is. If anyone has a tip. I'm so sorry about this dog. There's no way you can't hear this. I just don't have the heart to kick her out of here. I like to do these writing exercises, and then I like to write out or draw my resolutions for the year. And I, of course, love to just make a little art project out of it and a night of it. I was in my early 20s, and my husband at the time told me that he had heard that whatever you're doing at the stroke of midnight is indicative of how the new year is going to play out for you, or a reflection of how you are going to live out that year to come. And a couple years later, I was very, very pregnant. My daughter was born on January 14th. So that New Year's Eve, I was very pregnant and home alone, and I was trying to think of something I could do that would be a celebration of sorts, but calm and, creative, I guess. So I pulled out all of my paints and my colored pencils and some canvas and paper. I made a pot of tea. I did some writing exercises, and I was painting, and it was just so cozy and beautiful. And I thought, yeah, this is perfect. This is a beautiful way to spend New Year's Eve. This is a beautiful way to bring in the new year and to try and influence the year to come to be a creative one. And ever since then, a lot of my New Year's Eves have been spent doing something similar, and I love it. I don't have that need or that urge to go out partying all night with my friends. I think it's fun to ring in the new year with friends and loved ones, but to just go out drinking and dancing and partying, I don't know, it doesn't feel as much like I'm honoring the new year, I guess, if that makes sense. So I prefer to have these creative nights, and not always by myself. I'm happy to do it with other people that I care about. I think that's really fun and special too. I think there used to be a lot more traditions and superstitions even around New Year's Eve all over the world, and we're not as intense about it anymore, maybe because now, there's like kiss somebody at the stroke of 12 is like a thing in North America, but I don't know too many other New Year's traditions that we practice here. But regarding superstitions, and I definitely have some, and I don't know where these came from because I don't think my mom did this. I don't feel like this is a behavior I witnessed, but I have this very intense need for the house to be clean and the garbage to be out and all the laundry to be done and the dishes to be done before midnight. Like, I can't start the new year with dirty laundry and dirty dishes and garbage and recycling in the house. And some people think I'm crazy. I don't know what it is. It just stresses me out. Piles of unorganized papers or just mess. I don't know. I feel very superstitious about starting the year like that, as though that means that your year is going to continue to be some sort of chaotic mess or something. I don't know. Is it weird? I don't think so. I actually did some research about it, and I did a blog post for theladieslounge.com about some of the traditions that people have in different cultures. And I know there's a tradition or superstition, I don't know. There's a rumor, a saying, a thing where Okay, it's good luck if the first person who walks through your door on New Year's Day or after midnight New Year's Eve is tall, dark, handsome, has dark hair, preferably is not flat-footed or cross-eyed or have a unibrow. I can't even remember where this comes from. But that person, if that person is the first one to cross the threshold of your house after midnight on New Year's Eve, and if they come bearing gifts like bread, coins, drink, evergreen, or coal, yeah, that's supposed to be good luck. In some traditions, you can't take anything out. It's a tradition, it's really a superstition, right? Like, you can't take anything out of the house on New Year's Day. So on New Year's Eve, you have to put all the garbage, the recycling. If you have something to give people, gifts or things that you borrowed that you need to give back, donations to get rid of, you have to do it before New Year's. You can't do it on New Year's Day. And in fact, people would take that stuff out of the house and stick it somewhere outside so that the new year doesn't ring in with last year's unfinished tasks still in the house. See, that's even worse than mine. And what is it? Is it Italian or Greek? Italian? Who you can throw things out on New Year's Day, but it has to be through the window, not out the door. I can't remember. There's tons of them. All kinds of weird ones. So all that to say, maybe it's in my DNA, because it's definitely not something I witnessed. It's just deep in my bones that you can't throw anything out on New Year's Day. And I don't know. Don't bring the old into the new. That's not weird. We've heard that a lot, haven't we? I didn't just make that up. Don't carry the old into the new year or something. I don't know. It's not the saying. Does anyone know what it is? Please tell me. Comments. Put it in the comments. I'm really curious to know if you celebrate New Year's Eve and how you do it. Do you stay home and do something quiet? Do you go out? Do you have tons of friends and family over? Do you have a special meal, special traditions, creepy superstitions like I have? Please leave them in the comments. I'm really curious. It's not because I don't like going out partying for New Year's Eve that I need to be home alone with my paint set. I do like being around other people. I love having a sense of community. I love feeding people. And I think New Year's is a really fun time to make lots of little finger foods, little appetizer, hors d'oeuvre things. And I'm gonna show you how to make a few really straightforward vegan hors d'oeuvres.
Stuffed mushroom caps are always a winner as long as the people you're feeding like mushrooms. I saute some onions and garlic and a bit of celery, all minced quite small, and I chop some fresh parsley and mix that with a cashew cream, which you can replace with soft tofu if you're not eating nuts. You just combine it really well. You also add a bit of nutritional yeast and some panko or breadcrumbs, and you're good to go. You just stuff that inside of your mushrooms. You can use any button or cremini mushrooms, and you pop those in the oven until the mushroom is tender and the filling is a golden color. I often also make Caesar salad boats, which are just Caesar salad on an endive leaf. So people don't need a fork and a knife to eat veggies. They just can pick up the leaf and eat it in a few bites. And for the one that I'm making in this video, I am making a dressing out of a cashew cream. Again, you can replace this with a soft tofu or even a mayo. And I've mixed it with some Worcestershire sauce and some tahini, some lemon juice. I grated in some fresh garlic. I used way more tahini in this one than than I will in the future. I was experimenting with a few recipes and I found it was quite a bit, but I still like using a little bit, I think. I also put a tiny bit of brine from the capers that I'm gonna chop up and add to the dressing. The capers I will mince up as finely as I can. Traditional Caesar salad has anchovies in it, so the capers kind of give it that salty, briny taste. The consistency of the dressing should be pretty smooth and thick enough to really coat the salad leaves. So not runny, you don't want it runny, but not pasty either. Just like a nice creamy, almost the consistency of like a thick yogurt, I guess. I added a little bit of soy aminos, some nutritional yeast, and I also added a little bit of warm water to help soften the tahini a bit because I found it was pretty firm. In the Caesar salad I'm making today, I'm actually also going to add some kale. And I'll probably be accused of tricking somebody into eating a kale salad and calling it a Caesar salad. Normally I would massage the kale in some olive oil before adding it to the salad, but I'm cutting it really, really tiny, so it'll be fine. Plus the dressing will help soften it up a little bit because it will be pretty well coated. I'm also adding some purple cabbage to this Caesar salad, even though that's not traditionally added, but it adds some crunch and it'll also add some color and make it look a little bit more festive. And of course, as always, some romaine lettuce. I'm cutting everything up pretty small, much smaller than I would if I was just serving the salad in a bowl, just because it is going to be on an endive leaf and it won't fall off as easily if it's shredded a little bit or cut really finely. And once I mix the greens and purple in with the dressing really well, I just scoop it onto an endive leaf, like I said, and it's ready to eat, just like that. Oh, but one other thing. Some people like to add little extras on top of their Caesar salad, like some Parmesan, which I make out of cashews and nutritional yeast and a bit of garlic powder. Some people also like to add croutons, which are quick and easy to make also, and that's fun to top the salad with. You could also make some smoked tempeh bits if you wanted to crumble that on top also. It would probably be really good. I didn't try it, but I imagine it would probably be pretty tasty. So my youngest daughter is in Italy right now, and she messaged me a couple of days ago because she had just been served lupini beans as a snack and she noticed they tasted really cheesy. So she messaged me and said, "Mom, I think you could make a cheese out of this. And I love trying new things and I love a challenge. So I immediately got a jar of lupini beans that are marinated in like a salty brine. And you peel the outer skin off before you use them. And they're often eaten as a snack in places like Italy and Portugal, just on their own. Like if you're having a beer or a drink, you would have a bowl of lupini beans. I blended these really well with a little bit of onion powder and a bit of garlic powder in a very strong blender because they're quite firm. It took a while to get it smooth-ish. I added a bit of kefir also. You could use a plant-based yogurt. I used coconut kefir. I added a little bit of nutritional yeast and some apple cider vinegar and blended it really, really, really well. And then I boiled some water and added a bit of agar powder. And I'm using that to try and help the cheese form a ball. I want to mold it. So once the agar is completely dissolved in the boiling water, I add my bean mixture and then I mix that really well until it is as smooth as possible and also relatively thick. Once the cheese mixture is well blended and quite thick, you put it in a container and you refrigerate it, and it takes a couple of hours to cool. But once it's cool and pretty malleable, I guess, moldable, you can shape it into a ball or some other shape if you want to, or you can just leave it the way it came out of the mold. I rolled my cheese ball in fresh chopped parsley and we ate it on garlic toast and crackers, and it's really, really, really tasty. I would tweak the recipe a little bit more. I'm going to experiment with it some more. But it is really tasty. Someone gave me this adorable cheese platter thing and I love it. And I noticed that the actual surface is kind of scratched up, but I don't want to throw it out. So instead of putting the cheese directly on the scratched wood, I'm putting it on some parchment. The recipe I came up with is quite soft and easily spreadable. A really impressive looking hors d'oeuvre that's pretty simple to make is cucumber rolls. So I take some plant-based cream cheese. You can find it in most grocery stores. I make mine by making a cashew cream and adding a bit of lemon juice and some salt. I put a spoonful of the cream cheese and some red onion and some smoked carrot that is meant to taste somewhat like smoked salmon, and then just top it with a little caper. Use a toothpick to hold it in place, and they're so freaking adorable. They're so adorable. They look really impressive, but they really just take a few minutes to make. I love them so much. And they're tasty, which is, a bonus. And this year, instead of making a cocktail, we made a mocktail. I grated some ginger and some clementine zest and turned that into a simple syrup, and then put ginger kombucha with a sparkling pear beverage, and it was actually really delicious.
Thank you so much for watching this video. It means tons to me. It really does. And if you haven't already subscribed, I really hope that you'll consider subscribing and that you'll enable notifications so that you know when new videos come out. If you are a Patreon subscriber, I cannot thank you enough for believing in the work that I'm doing and for helping to make this channel possible. I thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank all of you for taking the time to be here to watch this and to listen to my dog snoring right next to me. And I wish you all a happy new year. I hope your New Year's Eve is special no matter what you do, and I hope that you all take really good care of yourselves. See you next year.